and welcome to Brad Tragick TV, a new format for the Brad Tragick YouTube channel, and I'm going to show my face every once in a while, but like I said before, it really doesn't matter. To me, if you think you'd rather see my face, then, I might try and do it, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. I'll still give you great news, great bits of information to use in your everyday life. But it's just basically this kind of the Brad Tragick logo and, maybe a different logo each week. Maybe something like that is going to be kind of maybe intriguing to people. Anyways, let's get on with the news. Let's talk about some stuff. Basically, I'm going to talk about anything in between, but I'll probably stick with a format that I'm going to talk about, some music, some movies, and then some random news stories, from around the world. And I think it's going to be pretty good. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to some of the bands. Well, I guess I'm not just shout out, but let's talk about some albums I haven't listened to yet, and then possibly next week I'll give you the skinny on them, on what I think about them. Motorhead has a new CD out. I believe I haven't looked at it, so it may either be just a single or an album, but I did see that they did drop something. Alter Bridge, I believe, has a full album out. I looked at it, haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I'm sure it's good. I'll let you know next week or here in a few days. Probably next week, technically. So let's talk about Pearl Jam. I did listen to their album. It was actually pretty good. I was actually shocked. I've heard a couple of their albums since, their classic albums, basically. And they've always been okay. I remember buying Vitalogy, and it was pretty decent. I liked Vitalogy. It was pretty good. This is probably along that lines. This is probably about as good as Vitalogy, because Vitalogy is pretty good, but there's some stuff on there, you're like, So this is probably about the same thing. It's called Lightning Bolt, I believe is what it's called, and, definitely check that out. It's on Spotify. You can listen to all the tracks on there. There's some really good songs on there. Still can't believe he cut his hair. That's just crazy, but, that always happens. Bands get older, they cut their hair, do all that stuff. Last night I had the opportunity to check out the EP, but I don't think they have a full album out yet. I could be wrong about that. Let me know if I'm wrong. Comment down below. Stone Temple Pilots. Chester Bennington from Linkin Park is now the lead singer for them. They released the EP. I believe it has 5 songs on it, what I listened to last night. It was okay. It was actually pretty good. It surprised me. It really did surprise me. I thought I was going into it saying, man, this is going to be okay, but I bet it's really going to suck. And I went into it and I'm like, this is pretty good. This is probably as good as the hit albums that STP had back in the day. There's a really good song called Cry Cry on there, and there's also Blackheart, which I believe is the first song. It was really good. Really about all of them. All the songs on the EP, I think I like 3 of them, and that's pretty good. That's a pretty good thing to have that. And the other 2 weren't bad at all. It's just, they hadn't grown on me enough to say I really like them, But they weren't bad at all. They weren't bad at all. Saving Abel has an EP out as well. Mystify, I think, is the single that they're going with, so they'll probably have a CD out. They release CDs pretty frequently, so I would probably say the album will probably be out probably within 6 months or so, I would think. Just because it seems like they release albums pretty quickly. And the bands that do it, and they can do it, it's awesome. Because Saving Abel is one of those bands I think it's really, really good compared to some of the bands crap that he put out lately. But they have Mystify on there. There's an acoustic version of that song, and I think there's 3 other songs. Not too bad. It's not too bad. Compared to the other albums, it's about the same, Daughtry has a couple singles on there I've seen, and I don't know how long they've been out. Long Live Rock and Roll is one of the newest ones he put on there on Spotify. It was really good. And I go by Spotify, and if people don't listen to Spotify, I don't know what you're doing. Are you actually paying for music? Because I just don't really, I think if you want to support an artist, okay, that's great. Go to a concert, because that's the best way I think you can support an artist, is if they come to town, try and, just go there. If you want to support an artist in another way, buy merchandise, do something like that. Because music is really, music has kind of went to the wayside of how I think we can support the artists that we love. Because, and I don't know how Spotify works, but I think they get paid in some way. By Spotify. I think it's kind of like a Netflix thing where they get paid so much money to put their music on there and people can listen to it. I don't know how it works, but I think they get so many clicks payment too. I think that's how it works. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But Daughtry's on there as well. Long Live Rock and Roll, and he has something about, I think it's Waiting for Superman, a single that he has released in 2013. Those are really good songs by Daughtry. I haven't liked the last couple albums Daughtry has put out. The first album was amazing, by Daughtry, but now, ever since then, nothing really to keep my interest in Daughtry. I loved him, from American Idol and when he got kicked off and all that jazz. If you don't know about that, you can go into history and, read up about what happened to Daughtry with American Idol, but the whole Fuel situation and all that. But anyway, I liked his first album. Ever since then, kind of These two singles, really good. So maybe he's going to put out a good album now. Who knows? Hailstorm put out an EP. It's like an EP. I think it's EP time or something. I don't know why. They're doing a covers album, and I think that he might actually be, I don't know if they're going to put out a covers album, or I think they have, and they just put this on Spotify. I think that's what they're doing. I think some people, they don't want to put all their albums on Spotify. Sometimes they'll put EPs out, and then, put them in the stores, and then after a while, they'll put the entire album on the Spotify. I think that's how some people are doing it, which, I don't know. Like I said, to each their own. Really good stuff. Get Lucky, if you know that pop song, they do a version of that. Hailstorm's pretty awesome. I like any band that has a chick singer in it, so, most bands, minus Paramore, because I don't really like them. But I like most of it. So there you go. There's my music section. I hope you enjoyed that. Anything you want me to check out, review, let me know, comment down below. Let's move on to the movie section. So, let me talk about some movies. I haven't watched a lot of the movies lately. I've been in the episode mood. First of all, I finished Burn Notice, the TV show, and if anybody has never seen Burn Notice, you really need to watch it, because it's something that I put off for the longest time. The same thing with Breaking Bad, and the same thing with Walking Dead. I put off, and then when I did, it was too late. It already got started, and I was way behind everybody else. I've caught up to Walking Dead, of course, and I did the same thing with Sons of Anarchy, too. And I'm caught up with Sons of Anarchy, well, for the most part. I watched all Breaking Bad, except for this last season. But Burn Notice is really good, too. So all those episodes, all those shows I mentioned, if you've never seen them, those are all, like, great shows of this generation that, you should really check out if you've never seen them. But let's talk about the movies I did watch. I did watch I can't even say it right. Monstrous Holiday. I did watch that. My son, he saw that movie. He wanted to get it. He's in the Halloween mood. He's 4 years old, so, this is kind of a kiddie movie. Yeah, but it's pretty good. It has I think it's John Heder is his name. The guy from, I believe that's the guy from Napoleon Dynamite. He plays the kind of Frankenstein kind of monster in the movie. It's like he's like a kid version, and his dad, Dr. Frankenstein, has, went away somewhere, and he's not even in the movie ever. And there's a kid, and I can't remember what my wife said his name is. She knew who he was. I had no idea. But he was in there. Brooke Shields plays, I think, the mom's voice. Not really important, because the mom is in there somewhat, but not a huge part in it. But it's a pretty good movie. It's basically, and I'm not ruining anything for anybody, basically the kid in the movie, the white kid, the regular kid, is, he's trying to, be a science guy, basically, and his dad keeps wanting to be in the football team and all this. So his science experiment ends up being switching with the monster, and he's playing football, and and the kid's trying to come up with a science experiment to enter the science fair. Well, things backfire, and that's what the movie's about. There you go. Pretty good movie. I'd probably give it, out of 5, I'd probably give it, probably a 3. And usually if I give something a 3, it's worth one watch at least. You watch it once, just to say you've seen it. Decent movie. Probably not something I would buy, but it's a good movie. The movie I watched recently is Child's Play 2. I've seen it before, but I've seen it when I was, like, kind of younger. Like, when I was like living alone and everything like that. Now I've been around a while. I watched it again, and man, you have a better respect, I think, for scary movies when you go back and watch them after they've been out a while. And I really do enjoy Child's Play 2. I think that it's always been one of my favorites. The first one is okay, and it's creepy, and it introduces you to the series. But Child's Play has never been like my favorite movie. It's never been one of my favorite of the franchise. And the ones I think are the best ones of all of them, probably people would go, ooh, really? But yeah, I like Child's Play 2. I like Bride of Chucky. Seed of Chucky, yeah, I mean, everybody knows that's horrible. I haven't seen Curse of Chucky yet, but I'm sure it's pretty good. I've heard it's okay. But Child's Play 2 and Bride of Chucky, my two favorite Chucky movies ever. 3 is pretty good too. Like I said, Child's Play, the original, is probably the worst one, except minus Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky is definitely the worst one. I don't think you can get any worse than that. That was horrible. But yeah, I watched Child's Play 2 recently. I like that movie. It's really good. If you haven't seen the Child's Play series and you're a horror fan, you definitely got to check it out. I mean, it's just like something you have to see. Something else I was kind of eyeing on rewatching the series is Leprechaun, because I like that series. I think I've seen every Leprechaun movie that they had out. I went and seen 1, I think through 4, and then Back to the Hood, the gangster one, supposedly, I guess you could say. I've seen all those. I think 5, I think there might be a 5, and it was out in outer space, so that could have been 4. I can't remember, I lost track. But I know I've seen them all. I know I've seen all the Leprechauns. That's a really good franchise of goofy, scary movies as well. So if you want to check those out. Let's talk about the movies that came out this week, and the movies that are coming out this coming week, which the movies are starting to come out now are some of the ones that are really, really good, and people are looking forward to. So last week and this week, Pacific Rim came out last week. I haven't seen that movie. It looks pretty good. I wasn't really into it until I heard who was in it. And the dude from Jax from Sons of Anarchy is in it. That guy, I don't know what his real name is, but it's just that pretty sad. But he's in it, so it kind of interests me, make me want to watch it. Has a robot theme to it, so I may check into that and see it when it gets on the Redbox. Check that out. Conjuring, heard it was pretty good. Heard it was an okay movie, so it's probably one of those where, I'll probably watch once and say it's okay and move on. I never know if I'm going to come across a movie that I really, really enjoy lately. I haven't really found that movie, I know back in the day, I would come across something and, I'd watch and, that's a really good movie. And, I mean, I can't remember the last time I watched something and I said that. I mean, it had to have been, a long time since I've said, that was a really good movie. And looked at somebody and said that. And I think one of the last movies I remember saying that was The Holiday. And it was a movie that you didn't expect to be that good. And I watched it, and I'm like, that was a really, really good, feel-good movie. And it was something that you can look back on and say, that's a good movie. I would probably want to own it. And it's there. You don't even really know a reason why, but you just know that it was a good movie. It had Jack Black in it. I can't even remember really who all was in it, but I know Jack Black was in it. And it really shocked you that he was in kind of a drama movie. And it really was a good love story, and it was really good. It was told in a way that there's some funniness in it, there's some comedy in it, and there's also, there's some love things going on, and it was kind of a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing, where Jack Black got with a pretty girl and stuff like that. So if you ever seen The Holiday, check that out too. There you go, I advertised for The Holiday. Why did I do that? But I kind of want to just kind of give it a little brief right there. Internship, it seems like this is one of those stupid movies that they keep putting out. They have these movies lately, and they have these stupid comedy movies they keep wanting to release to us, where, and I love the actors in the movies. Don't get me wrong, Vince Vaughn and, who is it, Owen Wilson, there you go. I believe they're the ones in this movie, and they did a great job with Wedding Crashers, but they're together in The Internship, and it's probably going to be an okay movie. I haven't seen it, but they keep putting out these comedy, just skit movies, basically, that these should have just stayed on Saturday Night Live, where they probably were born, or something like that, that maybe they got the ideas for, or something, or maybe they got it from Wedding Crashers, and they're like, well, we had a great success with this, let's copy it and do this. But, they need to, just try and come up with some good stories. It's like, they're going to be putting out these, crap comedy movies, and I know they did it back in the day, but good lord, man, and it's like, some of these are horrible that they're putting out, and I haven't even seen them, and I know they're probably horrible. So there you go. That's The Internship, Conjuring, there we go, Pacific Rim. So those are the last week movies. Coming up this week, the big one is Monsters University comes out. My son's excited. I'm kind of excited too. I want to see it. I like the Monsters movie, and I kind of wondered why they waited this long to come out with another movie. It's a prequel, which is kind of odd. But yeah, I kind of wondered why they waited so long, because, Disney's the money-making machine. They want to, just churn out movies as fast as they can lately, and Monsters is definitely a great franchise. I don't know why it took them this long. Same thing with Toy Story. It took them a long time to go through that franchise, and you're like, well, wow, okay. And also R.I.P.D. This is a movie that kind of shocked me, and it looked really good. I didn't go see it in the theater because I don't really go to theaters anymore. I have a kid, so it's kind of hard to go to a theater all the time when you have a family. So, but this movie looked like it was okay, but I guess it bombed at the box office, and it didn't do. I don't think it did very good. I don't know. I thought it already came out, but evidently not. It's coming out soon. It's coming out this week. Maybe it's just the Blu-ray that's just coming out this week. Heck, I don't know. But anyway, R.I.P.D. is coming out this week. I'm thinking I know what it is. I'm thinking, is that one with the guy from Crazy Horse? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Jeff Bridges? I think that's that one movie. If I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. But I think that's the movie that I'm talking about. So that's it. That's the movies. And this is probably the point in the episode where I'm going to talk about something kind of an unknown band or I guess a underground movie that I kind of seen or something like that. And this week I have Indiana, and you're like, it's a freaking state. What are you talking about, man? No, it's actually a band or a guy. I don't know what it is. It's an artist. I don't know what he does. Matthew Aaron, a.k.a. Indiana. Now, Indiana spelled with an I normally. This guy spells it with an E, so end, as in the end. Indiana, really good music. I like the song Vodka that he does. They do. I don't know if it's a band or one person. But you can check it out. I'll put the link in the description box below. So definitely check that out. And tell me what you think of Indiana. He's from Indiana. I think he's from around Indianapolis or Connorsville or around that area, central Indiana, for the most part, I guess. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But, yeah, there you go. So let's get to the current event stories. And this is going to be the fun part because I never did anything with current events around the world and things like that. And it really is current events. So first let's talk about the one that's in this area, which is really, really weird. I believe it was Mountain City, Mountain City, Tennessee. I'm currently living in Tennessee, so this is kind of cool. I found this story. A lady cop shoots at a squirrel in a dollar store in Mountain City, Tennessee. And I was like, what? And it was pretty crazy. I read the story, and I'm like, this is pretty insane. Like, why would she even think about shooting in a store when there was people in there? There was actually people in the store when she did this. And then she missed the squirrel, and I guess she shot pepper spray at the squirrel to get it out of the store or whatever. And I guess the people were coughing and hacking and like that because they probably got some pepper spray in their systems or whatever. But I guess in the ending of the story comes that the lady cop got fired because she refused to fill out every time they fire a weapon, they're supposed to fill out a form. And she refused to fill out a form for doing that, I guess, for a stupid squirrel, I guess. She didn't say that. I'm saying that. But she didn't fill out a form because she probably was like, it's a squirrel. I shot at a squirrel. Why do I have to fill out the paper? And they fired her. She had worked for 14 years for one county and, I think 5 years for whatever county Mountain City, Tennessee is, whatever that is. So she lost her job. That's kind of sad. It's always sad when you hear about a cop losing their job or anybody losing their job, really. But that's kind of an odd story. Thought I'd share on here. Brad Tragick TV. And then we got a kind of a funny story here. They had I guess, some kind of reality show in Russia, I think, or somewhere over in Europe. And they had a Russian man and a Brazilian female, and they were going to auction off their virginity. Now, I don't know how long this ran or what they did or if this was like an ongoing thing and people got to talk to them or whatever for a week. I don't know how this went on. But basically, this is what happened. The Brazilian female, after the auction ended, I guess by the time it ended, she got an offer from a Japanese businessman, Natsu, I believe was his name, $780,000 to have sex with her to lose her virginity. Wow, that's a lot of money. Now, to put insult to injury, the Russian man, which I seen the picture of him before I came out here to record this. It was he got $2,600, I believe, from an Australian woman. And just thinking about the way difference in the cost and the price and the bid, it's like you got to be, if you're in the same room when these bids are being placed, and then they stop short when you're the guy, and they stop short at $2,600, you really have to feel like really like scum. I thought that was a funny story to share. You can put your comments down below what you think about that. $2,600 for the guy, $780,000 for the woman. Let me repeat that: $2,600, $2,600 for the Russian man, $780,000 for the female, the Brazilian female. Anyway. All right, and then another cool story that I'm going to mention on here is October 26th. I guess it was women in Saudi Arabia were driving, and this may not sound like a big deal to anybody like in the U.S. Or like, who gives a shit? They were driving, you know. But it's a big deal over there. Women are not allowed to have their driver's license in Saudi Arabia at the current time, unless in the last week they've changed their minds. But yeah, no, they can't drive over there, and I guess about a little over 100 women are in this group, and they are, they're not allowed to drive. I mean, well, they can drive, but they don't have a driver's license. So it's not really a big thing, but cops were following them around and things like that, because I guess they've made a day of it to where October 26th, I guess, a bunch of Saudi Arabian women just jump in cars and drive, I guess, and they go to grocery stores, they go shopping, they do all this stuff on that day. But I guess it's just to try and further the cause that, they should have equal rights and they should have driver's license, and it's, I guess, to bring them into the 21st century is what the article said. So it's kind of a neat thing, kind of bring up on here. So it's kind of great that we live in the U.S. of A. and we can, everybody has, the freedoms that they do and things like that. So I'm not going to be like, talking about that. But yeah, there you go. Been a pretty good Brad Tragick TV. If anybody enjoyed what I did, the format I said, I know I talk really fast and things like that. I'm just trying to get everything in and get it within, a 30-minute time limit. And I'm going to do pretty good. I'm at 22 minutes right now around that time. So it's pretty good. That's a pretty good time to splurt all this out. You got a lot of information. I'm going to put some links down below about some things I talked about. Things that I think that, you can refer to. I'm not going to put articles to these things I talked about. You can look them up. You can find them all. Just about the stories I talked about. They're pretty, easy to find, probably. But yeah, a little update here at the end. What Brad Tragick's TV is going to become. Well, basically anything that I want to talk about. I could talk about music. I could change it up and not talk about music one week and just talk about movies. Basically it's going to be anything and everything in between. So I'll try and do the music and movie thing every week because I do love movies and I do love music, and I want to incorporate that into Brad Tragick TV. But anytime you want me to talk about a certain topic, I will fit it in. I'll make the Brad Tragick TV a little bit longer, and I'll definitely fit it in to the schedule. Definitely here at the end, I think it'll be kind of like a what do you want me to talk about segment, and I'll just add some things in here that whatever you want me to talk about, or I'll give a little update on the channel, and this is basically where I'm going to use this to talk about. So I've updated the website. The website you're going to see is a little bit different on bradtragick.com. And also, if you've been following junkfrenzy.com, there's been some changes there. I added some merchandise on there. I actually will have 2 stores on there. So there's going to be, I believe it's going to be 2 Junk Frenzy apparel stores. And there's going to be 1, and then there's going to be 2. Now, some way, I'm just putting on, I'm not sure what I'm going to call them something different or something like that. I believe one's going to be called Tragick Frenzy. It's going to be a brand called Tragick Frenzy. I'm going to try and put like a T and F on every single thing. Do something like that. And these are all kind of like those things where you go and make your own clothing lines and things like that. But these are shirts I've created on there, and I've made certain sayings and things like that. So if you want to support, junkfrenzy.com, definitely go there, check it out. BradTragick.com also has its version, so you can buy Brad Tragick stuff. And also in the Tragick Frenzy store, there's also some Brad Tragick stuff that is actually probably better than what's in the other one. So you can check them both out, see what you like about each of them, and definitely tell me what you think about that. Check out BradTragick.com. Tell me what I need to change, what I need to add, what would draw you to that website. And also, what do you want to see on this YouTube channel? This is basically what I'm going to do from now on, the Brad Tragick TV. I'm going to do this probably, I'm going to try and do a couple times a week, probably once in the morning at some point, and do like something like this where I'll write down some comments and I'll come out and I'll record this, probably after work or something like that, and I'll probably get it recorded sometime before I get to do it again, and then, but it's probably going to be, random, kind of random. I'll try and get some days set up to where I keep doing them on certain days. But really, Saturday night, which is technically tonight, it's Sunday early morning, probably when time this gets uploaded, is when Brad Tragick TV is going to be put on there. So definitely leave your comments down below what you think about the show, and hopefully this first episode is going to do really, really well. Hope people enjoy it and everything like that. Always continue to check out BradTragick.com. Check out my music that is down below in the playlist, Brad Tragick Music. Also here, that's my artist stuff, my music that I create. And also, I'm thinking about doing some, getting back into the comedy stuff. So, look out for that. It'll be mixed in with my music stuff. Also, I wanted to talk about the movies and everything. And let's talk about the pro wrestling. I know everyone will know that I do pro wrestling. And if people miss that, let me know if you enjoy my wrestling stuff. Let me know what kind of wrestling stuff you want to hear from me. Because really, I don't feel like the wrestling stuff belongs on this channel. If I want to do wrestling, I think I need to create a new channel or something like that to really, really just dive into wrestling. And right now, I'm just going to put a hold on wrestling. I may do a random wrestling video every once in a while. But really, it's going to be kind of like State of the Wrestling Review or something like that, I'm going to call it. And I'll only do it like every once in a while because I just don't think, I'm not getting enough views for the wrestling stuff. And I get more views on my rants and things like that. So this is probably a lot better. So thank you for listening to Brad Tragick. Thank you for checking me out. And this is going to be all audio from now on, so I hope you enjoy this. And I will hopefully give you great content to listen to while you're searching the internet, checking your Facebook, whatever you want to do. And thank you for listening to Brad Tragick. Keep rocking. It's been Brad Tragick TV.